First one, the very first one in line is right here in Maryland at Calvert Cliffs, where Constellation Energy wants to build the largest single nuclear power reactor in the country on the shores of the Chesapeake Bay. Right down the road from the liquefied natural gas facility next to two other reactors. I mean, think like a terrorist for a minute. What better target than the biggest reactor in the country, 40 miles from the U.S. Capitol building? That's how, but these people don't think about that. What they're trying to do, they're spending millions and millions of dollars trying to convince you, trying to convince Congress that nuclear power is a solution to the climate crisis. The same utilities that built all the coal plants in the first place now want you to believe that they've got the answer and it's more nuclear power. I've got news for them. It's not more nuclear power. That's not the answer. Even if nuclear power was safe, and the industry calls it the clean air energy. The only reason it's the clean air energy is because you can't see the radiation. If radiation that comes out of these reactors with a color and texture of oil, and you can see it oozing out of the reactor and going into the air and water, nobody would call it the clean air energy, because all nuclear facilities release radiation into our air and water on a routine basis every day of the year. And don't take my word for it, take the National Academy of Sciences' word for it. They said in a report last year, there's no such thing as a safe level of radiation. But even if it were safe, even if we had the waste problem solved, and we don't have the waste problem solved, and no country in the world has solved the nuclear waste problem, even if nuclear power didn't require uranium mining, which kills the miners, which destroys communities, which destroys the environment, even if it weren't a proliferation nightmare leading to the spread of nuclear weapons, even if all those things weren't the case, nuclear power still wouldn't be suitable for climate change. It takes too long. Folks, the Arctic is melting. We no longer have the luxury of decades to deal with the climate crisis. We have to begin now. And you know what? That first reactor at Calvert Cliffs, that's going to take 10, 12 years, 15 years to build, just like all the rest of them will. And it's going to eat up the billions of dollars, billions and billions of dollars that we could be spending right now to put in solar power, to put in wind power, to put in energy efficiency, to do the things that are going to reduce the emissions and lead us out of the climate crisis. We need to work for a carbon-free, nuclear-free future, and fortunately, we can achieve a carbon-free, nuclear-free future. I want to talk just a second about the cost of this plant out of Calvert Cliffs. Constellation says it's going to be a pretty expensive plant. They're saying $4 to $5 billion. Now think of what you could do with $4 to $5 billion if you put that toward solar and wind. But you know what? Wall Street, and regardless of what else you think about Wall Street, they're not really stupid up there. Moody's Investor Service just 3 weeks ago put out a brand new report, and their prediction is that Calvert Cliffs and reactors like it are going to cost $7.5 to $9.5 billion each. Now that's a lot of money, and we can do a lot of solar power with that, and we can do a lot of wind power with that, and we can do a lot of energy efficiency with that. There was a report just last year. Just last year, there was a report that shows that offshore wind power off the coast of Ocean City, Rehoboth Beach, and sort of on up there. Some people don't like offshore wind because they think it might destroy the view. Well, this is going to be 10 miles out, right? And these are pretty big windmills if you're right up there. But from the beach, they're going to be this big. So yeah, you might be able to see them way off there. And there is enough offshore wind capability off of our beaches to power all of Maryland, Washington, D.C., New Jersey, Delaware, and Eastern Pennsylvania. We don't even need any other power. Solar power. The U.S. Navy, of all people, have built a solar power covered parking lot in San Diego. Diego. So, and just, you know, it's the solar panels that sit above, they keep your car cool, so your car's cool when you get into it after you get off work, and it produces a megawatt, nearly a megawatt worth of solar power. Now, how many parking lots are there in Maryland that we can put solar panels atop and produce power? 20,000? The reactor that Constellation wants to build puts out 1,600 megawatts. We can put 10 to 20,000 megawatts of solar power just on the parking lots we have. And that's technology that is here. It's technology that can be done now. And don't think that because, you know, Maryland is not San Diego, it doesn't work here. I've got a friend who builds completely solar-powered buildings in northern Germany. In Austria, which nobody's ever going to confuse with the Riviera, they put solar power panels on those, you know, highway, those things, the highway quiet, you know, walls along the highways. They put solar panels on top of those and put power into the local communities. The renewables work, they're ready. One very important action item, though, and one thing I haven't said yet. Constellation wants to build this reactor. You know, we already know they think it's going to cost $4 or $5 billion. Wall Street thinks it's going to cost almost twice that. They want to do it with your money. They don't want to put up their money. Wall Street isn't going to put up its money because they think it's too expensive. So right now, before the United States Congress, there is an energy bill that's being debated in the House and Senate. And right now in the bill is a provision that would allow $50 billion in loan guarantees to build new nuclear power plants in the United States. $50 billion. For that money, $50 billion, we'll get about, and that'll cover about 10 reactors, 15,000 megawatts of power. The wind industry worldwide has spent so far $48 billion and gives us 72,000 megawatts of power. It's the wrong way to use our money. It's the wrong way to use your money. And nobody is going to build a new reactor in the United States without using your money because they don't have enough confidence in the technology to use their own money. So, as you walk out of here tonight, we're going to be handing out these cards. Stop the federal loan guarantees for new nuclear power. And we want every one of you to go home on Monday and Tuesday and call your representatives and call your senators, and especially if you're from Steny Hoyer's district, who is the leader supporting these loan guarantees. Please do that, and please, our friends in Maryland PERG, we are part of the Chesapeake Safe Energy Coalition, which is fighting the Calvert Cliffs plant. We've got this postcard out there. I saw a bunch of you signing when you came in. If you didn't sign to come in, please sign it on your way out. We're going to get these to the people that matter in Maryland, because we are going to stop the Calvert Cliffs reactor.